Okay, so I wanted to get this on video to show you something else that Marcus does, but only if you do it in a silly voice. Hey Marcus? Are you hungry? Do you want your dinner? Come on and get your dinner. Here he goes. Onto the video. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're going to be banging your head off the computer desk after watching this video. User does not understand how time works. This story takes place this last Thursday. As part of an annual sports event in the company I'm currently interning in, me and another intern made a small website to track the run distance of our willing co-workers, aka basically everyone that's not in IT, shockingly enough. At the very top of the page, there is a big warning sign that says the logging function will only be enabled during the night from Thursday to Friday. 9 AM, I roll into work, cursing traffic jams in several different languages simultaneously, and I am immediately greeted by a dozen messages from someone in marketing that, while not outright hostile, I can tell are seeping with anger. Before answering, I take a look at my mails and see a company-wide notice announcing that the website to be live. Predictably it's not, and was never planned to be, followed by a chain of mails that is far too long to have been produced in the span of an hour. We open shop at 8. Guess who's the one who wrote the announcement in the first place? I open up the instant messenger client, and just as I start typing my response, I get a call from the marketing guy. I shall be me, and he shall be marketing in the following conversation. Hello? Why is the website not working? It ain't supposed to be. Says so on the front page. You will only be able to log your data starting Friday at midnight. It's Thursday. Why isn't it working yet? Me, probably audibly confused. Because Friday comes after Thursday? Note, at this point, the remainder of the open space is rolling on the floor laughing, and it takes every fibre of my being not to join them. You said it would go live in the night between Thursday and Friday. I did. Why isn't it live then? It's not Friday yet? Cue a few repeats of this with the marketing guy becoming increasingly angry. The event starts tomorrow at midnight. There is literally no point in enabling data collection before it even starts. That'll just skew the dataset. That makes no sense. Why would the company start an event on a Saturday? Me internally. Segmentation fault, core dumped. Me externally. You know that day started midnight and ended 23:59:59, right? Cue the peanut gallery going wild again. Forget it. I'll talk to the head of IT. He'll help me, unlike some low-level intern. Sure thing. Rather unsurprisingly, my boss basically and intentionally repeated my words to marketing until they apparently got through. 15 minutes after the end of their chat, a new company-wide announcement popped into our inboxes, proclaiming that due to a scheduling error, the website would only go fully live tomorrow. How does that guy even manage to show up for work on the right days? Is there a mathematician in the building? The preface. I'm a developer, but I didn't get into it by the typical route. I had no interest in computers, other than to browse the internet on the Magic Box as I was growing up. I studied maths at university, but to my surprise, in some of the courses I was introduced to the very rudiments of programming. I didn't like it much at first. After graduating, however, after failing a few attempts to be hired as a trainee accountant, for which I am eternally thankful, I got myself hired as a trainee software developer. I had a lot of catching up to do, and still have a few gaps in my knowledge, but I believe I'm a pretty decent dev. I currently work for a small digital agency where I do a mixture of new development, enhancements, supporting existing products, and really anything else. There's not much division of labour here. My desk phone rang, a somewhat unusual occurrence, and 99% of the time when it does, it's our receptionist wanting to transfer a call from the front desk. I was somewhat surprised that this call was coming from one of our meeting rooms. It was my project manager, cheerful. Hey OP, can you pop over to the meeting room? We need your mathematical expertise. Intrigued, I grabbed a pencil and the back of an envelope and toddled on over to where cheerful and workaholic, my lead dev, were poring over a laptop screen. Hey OP, so if there's a price of £13 and we multiply it by 0.8, we get £10.40, and if we divide it by 1.2 instead, we get £10.83. These things are true. I scribble the figures down as I wait for the rest of the explanation, which is not forthcoming. Yeah, those would give you different answers. Light slowly dawns. So, you're trying to remove VAT? Yes. VAT, for the uninitiated, is essentially British sales tax. At the time of writing, it stands at 20% for the majority of goods and services to which it's applicable. It's much more common to need to add VAT, and nearly everyone understands why you multiply the pre-VAT price by 1.2. I think about it and scribble down a few more numbers to check my intuition. Percentages can be tricky beasts. Dividing by 1.2 is correct. VAT is 20% of the pre-VAT price, and if you multiply by 0.8, you're taking off 20% of the post-VAT price, which is more. Apparently, a customer for whom we built an e-commerce website last year complained that certain VAT calculations were incorrect, and it turns out that it's our in-house platform that's getting it wrong and needs to be fixed ASAP. I nearly died when I saw the resulting Slack conversation about it. Cheerful says, "Yes, OP, the mathematician really came into force there. Real team rally moment. Go Team Cheerful." Thank God there's a mathematician in the building. There's a ghost in my computer. This happened about 15 years ago when I first started working, but was reminded of the story when I went to my former manager's retirement lunch this week. When I first started working, I was a junior on-site IT analyst at a regional sales office for a medical supplies company. We had a mix of marketing, sales, and field support in the office. There was a guy who was in field support who looked very close to Doc from Back to the Future and was always tinkering away in the lab, but he also had an office with a desk, PC, and phone in it. I come in one morning and check the voicemails on our tech line, and he left a voicemail stating he would like a new computer put into the lab. I asked my manager, and he asked me to find out why he needed a computer in the lab and in his office, and to ask if we could replace his PC in his office with a laptop and docking station. So I walked down to the lab, and there he was, tinkering away with his parts for medical devices. I approached him and told him I was here to follow up on his request for a secondary computer and asked him some questions. He turns around and shuts the door to the lab and invites me to sit down, and proceeds to tell me that he believes there's a ghost in his computer in his office because it randomly shuts down while he's working on it. I start to interject and tell him that I think it might be a bad fan because we just fixed a few of those and it was in the same model he had. He held up his hand and said, "No, it's not a bad fan." He went on to explain that he believed his dead wife was haunting him through his computer because he had an indiscretion on a business trip that she found out about. Before they could sort through their issues, she had a stroke and died. I was 22 and only had about 5 months of work experience at that point, so I just didn't know what to say. So I said I was sorry about his wife and left. I went back to our IT area and told my manager and my 2 colleagues what I was told. They thought I was joking, or that he was playing a joke on me since I was new. My manager and my colleague who was senior in the group went down later in the day to talk to him, and he told them the exact same story. When they went to collect the PC so they could look at it, he refused to let us take it because he thought the PC needed to have some sort of exorcism or intervention. They really didn't know how to respond. That weekend, we had to be in the office anyway for a network upgrade, so we took a look at the computer, and sure enough, it was a bad fan. We replaced it and put it back and decided not to say anything to him and just see what happens. A few days later, he sees me walking by his lab and calls me in. He then tells me that over the weekend he went to see some sort of psychic or something, and she helped him talk to his wife so she wouldn't haunt him anymore. And he knows it worked, because his computer no longer turned off on him when he was trying to type up his field visit reports. I didn't want to burst his bubble, so I told him I was glad and reported back to my manager. Damn, that's actually really sad. This guy clearly had enough of a guilty conscience to believe that the only logical explanation was his wife haunting his computer. I guess, in a weird way, there is a silver lining though, because now he can go on believing that his wife has forgiven him and is at peace. And that's probably worth more than knowing it was a busted fan. We'll end on a funny one. You need a what now? This one is from a while back when I was still working in a retail store, but I was reminded of it while talking with some friends. Obligatory sort for formatting, on mobile, will fix once I'm home and can format properly. Me, take a guess, CL is clueless lady. It was a particularly slow and rainy afternoon at the office supply chain, and after checking the tickets for the millionth time, a middle-aged lady walks up to the tech counter. "Hey you work in tech, right?" Me internally. "No, I just stand here wearing this dumb uniform to be berated for fun." "I certainly do, how can I help?" "My boss sent me here to get some stuff, and he says I need to pick up a 20 gigabag UBS dingle." Now, I'm used to hearing I need a UBS drive stick, but this was a new one. Never before had I heard someone refer to storage as a gigabag, and certainly never heard it called a dingle. "Do you mean like a thumb drive to store documents on?" "Thumb drive, dingle, whatever. I need one that's exactly 20 gigabags. Well, they only come in 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes. All we had in store at the time. "No, you're wrong. My friend got one from here that was 20 gigabags. Me internally. Oh dear God, it's gonna be one of those customers. Please just storm off thinking you're right. Well, unfortunately, they don't make ones like that. However, I can still help you find a relatively cheap drive that's large enough for you. We actually have some 32 gigabytes ones on sale right now. This is ridiculous. You're just trying to sell me something that's more than I need. I have a 20 gigabyte file and I need it for a presentation and I need it now. If you can't help me, I'll just go to the Good Purchase store. At least they know customer service. Me internally, fine, just please get out of my sight. And externally, if that's what you think is best, then please feel free to. Clueless Lady then proceeded to storm off from the tech desk, leaving in a huff and making sure to let her displeasure be known as her car screeched out of the parking lot. The kicker? 2 days later when she came in again, without recognising me, saying she can't transfer a large folder to her new UBS dingle. I told her that I'd take a look. The USB is FAT32 and her folder full of photos is almost 20 gigs. Now, normally if I need to reformat a blank drive for someone, I'll do it without charging, because it's relatively quick and I can do it on their own device. But as I explained to her what I was going to do, I was all eager to look at the price chart and see that it would be a $25 charge. She agreed and paid, and I reformatted the drive to NTFS, feeling happy for the first time with a stupid store policy. I can't even tell you how many times I had to re-record me saying gigabags without bursting out laughing. I don't know how OP could have kept a straight face through all of that. Okay, so that's all for r/TalesFromTechSupport. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!